mobile homes, perfected by humans but invented by snails. There are many misconceptions about mobile or manufactured homes. For instance, right now, you may be picturing something that looks like this, but for decades, the industry's been trying to change that image, running ads like this one.
You bought a mobile home?
Today's manufactured home.
You bought a house!
Factory-built quality at a price that makes sense.
We have 3 big bedrooms.
I love it. It's a manufactured home.
Today's manufactured home.
You bought a house.
OK, I think I get it, but for the record, that sexy saxophone riff would make a reveal of anything seem good. Here, I'll show you. You bought a taxidermy fox? You bought a fox! But it is true. It is true. It can be genuinely hard to tell the difference between manufactured homes and conventional homes, just like it's hard to tell the difference between Jessica Chastain and Bryce Dallas Howard. The difference is, like a mobile home, Bryce Dallas Howard is assembled off-site, then placed on wheels and moved to her permanent location. Around 20 million people live in mobile homes. That's roughly 1 in 18 Americans. And they're one of America's last affordable housing options, costing up to 50% less per square foot than a conventional house, which is great. But in recent years, some of the biggest investors in America have moved into this industry. According to one new report, over 100,000 home sites, traditionally run by mom-and-pop businesses, are now owned or partly owned by private equity firms like these. So the homes of some of the poorest people in America are getting snapped up by some of the richest people in America. And luckily, there have been no problems whatsoever. Except I'm obviously kidding, it's going terribly. If you do want to hear me lie about stories to make you feel better, you might enjoy our spin-off show, Everything's Fine, with John Oliver. Did you know ISIS is just hamsters? This little terrorist name is Dumpling, and he doesn't even know how to use his gun. Sadly, back in the real world, the truth is, the rise of big money investors in mobile homes has led to a corresponding spike in rents, fees, and local news stories like these.
People living at a local mobile home park outraged over the sharp increase in lot rent.
Rents were raised by as much as 36%.
Rents were raised by nearly 60%.
Ella Karcher lives on a fixed income. Her lot rent's just gone up, and it all adds up to a bill she can't afford.
Now it's a matter of, okay, now which medication am I going to take in half so that I can make it stretch out a little bit longer?
That's clearly horrible because nobody should be made to stretch out medicine. It's sad enough when you stretch out your almost empty bottle of shampoo by adding a bunch of water, and if you didn't relate to that joke, you haven't suffered a single day in your life. So tonight, let's take a look at the mobile home industry. And let's start with the company that sells more mobile homes than any other, Clayton Homes, controlled by one of the richest men in America, Warren Buffett. Although the company's ads choose to feature a more down-home spokesman.
What do I know about Clayton Homes? I know they're built right here in America.
And they know the difference between a house and a home.
Hey, Miss Kay, a home is where you get your famous sweet potato pie, honey. And you all know how we all try to make Miss Kay happy, happy, happy. Clayton Homes, good call.
Judging by that creepy delivery, there's just no way that getting her famous sweet potato pie is not also code for some kind of disgusting sex act. It probably means Miss Kay smearing pie filling on his ballsack while a live duck scrapes it off with its bill. And if it does, good call. But the key difference between a mobile and a conventional home has nothing to do with pie. It has to do with how it retains its value. Just listen to finance guru Dave Ramsey give his no-nonsense take on whether or not you should buy one.
Mobile homes go down in value. It's the only thing you own that you live in that goes down in value. Even if you buy dirt under it, that goes up in value more than it goes down in value. So it appears you didn't lose money, you lost money. You buy a $50,000 mobile home, in a few years it's a $10,000 mobile home. I mean, cars go down in value, mobile homes go down in value. It's a car you sleep in.
I've got to say, I find the negativity of his tone genuinely refreshing there. That guy should replace Jim Cramer on his show. No more running around excitedly pressing buttons like a little boy at an arcade. Just an angry old grump hunched over a desk telling you you're going to lose money. So mobile homes may be a terrible investment for people buying them, but they've been an incredible investment for Warren Buffett. Clayton Homes generated pre-tax earnings of $911 million last year. And they've done that not just by selling homes, but by financing them as well. Because instead of being financed with mortgages, mobile homes tend to be bought with high-interest, shorter-term chattel loans, the kind you'd use to buy a car or a TV. And an investigation a few years back found Clayton relies on predatory sales practices, exorbitant fees, and interest rates that can exceed 15%, trapping many buyers in loans they can't afford. Now, Clayton strenuously denies all of that, saying the report was based on isolated incidents and that its customers report high levels of satisfaction. Although I will point out that one of those isolated incidents was this call a Clayton customer got when she fell behind on payments.
Why don't you try something to come up with the money by the 31st?
What do you suggest, except for the things that you already suggest, which doesn't work?
Donate plasma or donate blood.
Really? I'm gonna get $800 for that?
No, that's one way to come up with a little bit of money, though.
Holy shit! Go donate blood. I guess one way to get your customers to report high levels of satisfaction is to make sure they're all feeling lightheaded after you literally bleed them fucking dry. But one of the biggest problems here isn't even to do with how you pay for a mobile home or how quickly it loses its value. It's where you put it. Because around a third of mobile home dwellers own their homes but don't own the land underneath it. That's because they live in mobile home parks and pay rent on that land to the park owner. But in recent years, large investors have been snatching those parks up and either tearing them down or ratcheting up rent and fees, as these women experienced firsthand.
The Engdahl family decided to sell the park, and they sold it to the Carlyle Group.
First of all, Carlyle started off with an immediate 8% increase, space rent. So that was a threat to most of us who are living on fixed income. I don't know what's going to happen. I may be forced to leave everything, my doctors, my friends, the life I've known here, even though I own my home.
It's true. That woman may lose her home, so the Carlyle Group, an investment firm with $216 billion in assets, can make more money for their shareholders. If the concept of income inequality came to life, that is the sentence it would scream when it orgasmed. Now, Carlyle insists that the price hikes were to pay for park improvements, which makes complete sense. If you ask these fuckers why they got into private equity, I'm sure they'd say to you, to break even on investments in the beautification of affordable housing. Why else would we do this? I also apparently have to tell you that Carlyle has a safety net program for low-income residents, although you should know it only applies to 21 of the 800 lots in that park, so it's a safety net that only catches 3% of people, just like the one they use at my favourite circus, a pile of dead trapeze artists. It's fun for the whole family, unless you're a family of one of those trapeze artists. And if you're thinking, well, look, that's terrible, but if those women live in mobile homes, why don't they just move? Well, there is a problem with that, as one of those women will tell you.
Although they call them mobile homes, it would cost $20,000 to move this home out of here. Plus, once you move them in and they settle, moving them out is going to help destroy them.
She's right. It can cost thousands of dollars to move mobile homes if you can move them at all. That is why 80% of mobile homes never move. So mobile homes are mobile about as much as a king crab is an actual king. It's just not, except in some parts of Alaska where it wields the power of a despot, but even then, it constitutionally shares power with Moose Parliament. So king is really a more ceremonial title there. Alaska's a fascinating place. And this lack of mobility for tenants is actually part of the attraction for big investors. And to see just how cynical and predatory the industry can be, meet Frank Roth. His company is one of the largest park operators in the US, controlling over 30,000 home sites in 25 states. Roth is an evangelist for the wonders of mobile home park investing. Just look at this uplifting message that he made ahead of the 2012 election about what it would mean for his industry, taped, for some reason, in front of a shitty green screen Oval Office.
If Mitt Romney wins, things are good. But if Barack Obama wins, things are good. You see, it doesn't much matter who wins the election. All that matters is that the statistics show that Americans will continue to get poorer in that lower half of the population.
Wow. What President Webcam is essentially saying there is, no matter what happens, the poor will suffer and we will feast on their rich marrow. And, as you can see, it's casual Friday here at the White House, which is why I sit before you looking like a divorced dad at a parent-teacher conference. Roth is completely shameless about the degree to which his business depends on having a captive customer base, positively comparing it to running a Waffle House where everyone is chained to the booths. A concept so deeply chilling, I think it may have just inspired Jordan Peele's next movie. Now, you should know, Rolf maintains that line was taken out of context. In fact, he has a whole page on his website about it, claiming he was just talking about the incredibly consistent revenues in mobile home parks. So he wasn't suggesting that he's a heartless person whose customers are stuck there with him holding all the cards, deciding for himself how high he wants their rent to go. To see him say that, you'd need to enroll in his online mobile home university, which we did, and found seminars like this.
What I found, and again, just as a heartless person, is that, you know, the customers are stuck there. They don't have any option. They can't afford to move the trailer. They don't have $3,000. So the only way they can object to your rent raise is to walk off and leave the trailer, in which case it becomes abandoned property and you recycle it, put another person in it. So you really hold all the cards. So the question is, what do you want to do? How high do you want to go?
Wow. Usually, when someone is that contemptuous of poor people, they're immediately visited by the ghost of Christmas future. Now, maybe Rolf will claim that quote is out of context too, and that he's not arguing that they're hostages. To hear him say that, you need to send away for Rolf's audio seminar on running mobile home parks, which we also did, and found this.
One of the big drivers to making money is the ability to increase the rent. If we didn't have them hostage, if they weren't stuck in those homes in those mobile home lots, it would be a whole different picture.
Frank Rolf's Mobile Home University is basically a crash course in how to be an arsehole. Although, having taken that course, I'd argue that if that's what you're looking for, save your money and just follow Piers Morgan on Twitter for one afternoon. And look, Rolf's course isn't just online. If you attend his mobile home boot camp, he'll even take you on a field trip tour of a park.
When you get to the park, you'll be shocked and turned off by, for example, the beach towel in the window instead of an actual curtain. That doesn't mean anything. What you got to worry about are the following items: infrastructure, density, expense, age of home, and location. Got it?
What's going on? They're teaching people about mobile home parks.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's good.
No, it isn't, though. It's really not good. Telling that woman that people are just there to learn about mobile home parks is like telling a lobster people came to the restaurant to learn about crustacean habitats. Oh, that's good. Are those knives and forks to help remove these tiny rubber bands from her claws? No, they're going to eat you. So, with that woman and many mobile home residents like her in danger of having their lives turned upside down, it is worth asking, is there anything that can be done here? Well, one potential solution is for residents to band together and buy their own park, keeping it out of the hands of speculators or developers. And while that sounds inherently like a long shot, there are non-profit groups that have had real success in helping tenants get financing to do just that. What would help is to have laws in every state that give residents the right of first refusal and time to raise funds if the current owner plans to sell. But until laws like that are put in place, which they absolutely should be, there are some key things to bear in mind. If you want to rent a mobile home, that's fine. If you can afford to buy one and put it on land that you own, that's fine. But buying a mobile home and renting the land underneath it can be financially catastrophic. And it is very important that anyone considering doing that knows the risks involved. And I'll tell you what would have been helpful all along: if the marketing for these homes had always made those risks completely clear.
You bought a mobile home?
Today's manufactured home.
You bought a house! I can't believe you bought a house.
I really didn't.
It's exactly like a house, and what a beautiful piece of land.
I don't own the land, though, and that's actually a super important difference.
Look at you, all grown up with a mortgage.
It's a chattel loan with an astronomical interest rate.
The important thing is it's an investment in your future.
It'll actually only ever go down in value, and since the private equity firm bought the park, my rent has skyrocketed. Are you listening to me?
Oh, I love these decorative bottles.
Oh, that's my blood. I have to sell my blood and plasma in order to make loan payments.
But What home is where the sweet potato pie is?
I didn't make that. Did you make that? Is that burning your hand? Are you a witch?
I want to see your garden.
No. Don't look out there.
Here I go.
Don't do it.
Oh, there she is. Look, she can't afford to move. You hold all the cards.
He's right. It's like a Waffle House where I am chained to my booth.
That sounds delicious.
What is wrong with you?
Speaking of delicious,
Stop it.
you bought a house.
Say it again, mother